In this video, we'll be putting two Batman miniseries up against each other and determine which provides the best value and which deserves an upgrade if it's released in a more deluxe format. Both Batman the Imposter and Robin and Batman are 3-issue stories recently released from DC Comics in the square-bound, higher quality, higher price point prestige format with cardstock wraparound covers and no ads. Each followed a monthly release schedule, and because they're so similar, they make great contestants in a head-to-head battle. Batman the Imposter is written by Mattson Tomlin, a screenwriter and director, and it's drawn by Andrea Sorrentino, who you might know from X-Men stuff, Old Man Logan, Gideon Falls, or the current Primordial book from Image Comics. Robin and Batman is presented by the creative team of Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, who've worked together for years on the critically acclaimed Descender and Ascender series from Image. Lemire may be better known for his creator-owned work, but he's written Batman a few times before, while Nguyen has been drawing the character for 18 years. Batman the Imposter is on DC Black Label, which means it can have more mature content, and like the old Elseworlds, it can exist outside continuity while providing alternate versions of characters we already know. Tomlin takes advantage of this by writing a young Batman, perhaps a year or 3 into his career, but things turn out different from what we typically know. After working with Batman in the beginning, Commissioner Gordon leaves Gotham in disgrace for working with and legitimizing a vigilante. As a child, Bruce was much more violent and unhinged, which led to Alfred leaving him early on. We've got a different version of Leslie Tompkins, and a more street-level, realistic Batman whose gear fails him at times, who relies on a series of zip lines and motorcycles that he spread across the city, and who only comes across realistic versions of his more grounded rogues, Zsasz, Ratcatcher, and Ventriloquist. This version of Batman seems more akin to what we've seen of Matt Reeves' upcoming film, which makes sense because Tomlin is a scriptwriter and apparently worked on the project. I wonder if Batman the Imposter is a reworked, rejected treatment for the film. Sorrentino's art is fantastic here, with some great techniques at play. He uses sound effects in interesting ways, provides X-ray cutaway views of the results of violence in detective work, and uses interesting layouts like these shaped panels. I also really like the vertical stack layouts he occasionally employs. Colorist Jordi Belair also makes important contributions to the art, keeping things organized and clean. Issues 1 and 2 were stellar with the relationships and character work, with issue 2 being a standout. The final issue, while oversized, still felt rushed and relied on the art, with less dialogue and characterization. It might work better in cinema to close out with a big high-stakes action sequence, but here it makes the series feel a touch uneven in its storytelling. Still, Batman the Imposter is a worthwhile read, due to its fresh take on such a well-known character, and especially because of the artwork. Robin and Batman is a normal DC release, but still presents a reimagining of sorts. It's a look back to Richard Grayson's early days training to be the first Robin. He struggles at school and at earning his mentor's approval, he makes his costume, he meets and bonds with the Titans, and ultimately he proves himself to Batman. Dick's origin story typically centers on his struggles with Tony Zuko, but this story moves past that and instead features villain Killer Croc, who's inserted into this Robin's early adventures, when traditionally he fits into the second Robin, Jason Todd's story. This move by Lemire makes good sense, as both Dick and Croc are revealed to have ties to Haley's Circus. Jeff Lemire is a master comic scribe, and understands how to plot and pace perfectly across the 3 issues. He and Nguyen begin each issue with a 12-panel page, include scenes of Dick at school in each volume to demonstrate his development as an individual, and often return to a full-page sequence of Dick dealing with frustrations as he rides passenger while an adult drives the car. These sequences become familiar and help give the story great symmetry. Lemire specializes in heart, and his story is really about Dick wrestling with and eventually overcoming the darkness. Dustin Nguyen's watercolor style here is the unique and distinct signature he's been making his own for years now. There's a luscious and delicate quality to the work. It also has a lot of heart. I love when he lets the texture of the watercolor paper show through. This book is organic rather than gritty in its aesthetic. Lemire and Nguyen are a powerhouse team and deliver a cohesive and masterful story that gets to the essence of the Robin character. We've got strong artwork and fresh takes in both of these, so which one should you get? If you like a more gritty and grounded Batman story that reads like a movie, you'll lean towards Batman the Imposter. If you like a throwback vibe from a seasoned creative team, you'll lean towards Robin and Batman. But if we break down the cost of these miniseries, we can see that Batman the Imposter provides better value. For the same price, on issues 1 and 2, you get an extra 8 pages of content over Robin and Batman, and the price increase on issue 3 corresponds to an even higher page count. Economy isn't everything, but based on this and the similar high quality of the work, if I could only get one, I'd go with Batman the Imposter. It's slated to release as a hardcover collection in late February of 2022. At $27 to $30, this upgrade appears to be a good buy. For an extra $10, you get the hardcover binding, and if the solicits are to be trusted, another 16 pages of content. This will likely feature the variant covers, but should also include other goodies like an introduction or perhaps some design work at the end. Still, right now, the single issues are the cheapest way to own this story, especially if your local comic store offers them at a discount. Because it just wrapped up a few weeks ago, Robin and Batman doesn't have a collected edition solicited yet, but I'm sure one will be coming soon. Despite it offering slightly less value than Batman the Imposter, I honestly enjoyed Robin and Batman more. If it gets a trade or a hardcover release, I'll probably pass. But if Robin and Batman someday gets the deluxe treatment, I'll upgrade, as I'd love to revisit it in the oversized format. Because whether I'm reading novels or comic books, I'm always looking to upgrade that bookshelf.